What's going on, everyone? It's time to talk about a comedy. Yeah, one of the newer comedies that came out last year, Free Guy. Yeah, it was released on August 13th, 2021, and it is directed by Sean Levy, who's done like Night at the Museum, Night at the Museum Battle at the Smithsonian, Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb. He's also done like Real Steel, The Internship, Cheaper by the Dozen, a whole pile of like comedies and stuff. It's at a box office earnings of $331.5 million. So yeah, it was a moderate success, and the voice of the big honchos behind the big film companies. So yeah, and it also stars Ryan Reynolds. So yeah, but Free Guy, basically, Ryan Reynolds' character is a guy who lives the same day in and out, and it's like a mixture of like Grand Theft Auto type scenery and stuff, and other video games. And then there's actual players in the real world that yeah, you quickly learn that he's actually in a simulated world, but then he develops like human characteristics and that, and trying to figure out why and what's going on, because like there's people in this world that wear glasses, which is what the players in the real world see. And yeah, so he puts them on and then becomes a player pretty much. And then yeah, the players who created the game and the masterminds that are really good with it team up to try to figure out what's going on with this character and get him out of the game because it's ruining it. And yeah, it's also sort of like a social commentary on like how we like everything sequels and nothing really original, and then something like this comes in and disrupts the system. Weird things like that. But yeah, so it's a very convoluted plot though for a story. It's very complex and you have to pay attention a bit. But yeah, the first half of the film though is really funny. There's a lot of good gags and jokes and a lot of like pandering to the video game crowd and stuff, giving them like guns that are in different games and tons of other things that happen if other games are put into this. And yeah, for the most part, it is entertaining. There's a lot of good action scenes and fight scenes with jokes sprinkled in throughout. Um, yeah, the story wise, though, it is pretty heavy on certain aspects where it doesn't need to be. Like, there's a very almost like personal relationship issues that are going on with the humans who are playing the game, and there's this really pointless side story about that doesn't need to be in the film, but they threw it in there anyways. And then like the villain was not good. He was just a lame human basically. And yeah, definitely one of the downer parts of the film. um yeah, I think this is more of a middle of the road type film though. It's not like the best thing out there. Ryan Reynolds' character hit and miss half the time with jokes and stuff. But I think that's more in the writing. Like it's a cool idea, but they just stuck with like the actual like simulated game area and keep the real world people to a minimum, where this one's more like half and half. um but if they did that, it would have been way better, I think. But the way they did it, it kind of bogs it down and convolutes things, and it's just not a cohesive film. The first half is like an action comedy, then you get into more of like a dramatic relationship drama with some comedy thrown in there. And half of the video game stuff is almost forgotten about. But and there's a pointless climax scene, which is very big letdown in the film. But yeah, overall, I thought Free Guy was an okay movie. It's not that bad. It's not terrible, but I definitely don't find it as good as a lot of the other people do. I thought it was just mediocre. So with that, I'm gonna give Free Guy a 2.5 out of 5. Right down the middle, because I wasn't sure exactly. I didn't hate it enough to give it something lower, but I didn't like it enough to give it something higher. So yeah, Free Guy is getting a 2.5 from me. There's a trailer link down below if you didn't know this film existed or whatnot. So you can check that out. Also, down below is my Instagram where I always post clips of films I'm going to review in the future. My story, I usually had the film title, hashtag, and the subgenre of film in the hashtag, so you're aware of it. Also, my Letterbox is linked down below at Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating right after watching the films. So follow me on one of those two platforms to stay in the loop. Like this video, share it so more people are aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you've seen it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, yeah, if you have any films I want to hear your opinions on, new, old, franchises, whatever, any genre, I'll watch. I'll comment them down below. I'll try my best to get them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. And make sure you subscribe so we can find something weird, obscure, odd, or just so you hear my opinions on a popular film like this together. So, yeah. But also, that's it for this one. It's a good comedy. Tune in for... Make sure you subscribe because the next review should be interesting because it's another comedy. And yeah, as I dive into one of the most badly reviewed movies to come out in quite some time, comedy wise. So I'm going to talk about Holmes and Watson and my opinions on that. So make sure you subscribe and yeah, watch out for all those simulated human sims that are coming out and becoming real like it is in real life. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So till then, cheers.